see a pretty girl and you want to go up to her, say hi, and ask for her number. First, let's look at how you should never approach a woman. This is how 90% of guys do it, and that's exactly why they always get rejected. Then I'll show you a way to approach where you're almost never going to get rejected. I say almost because, well, sometimes it can happen. Then we'll make it even easier. At the end, I'll tell you the one thing that's not so obvious, but is the most important when approaching a woman. So this guy comes up to her from behind and says, "Excuse me, what's your name?" She says Emma and keeps walking, clearly uncomfortable. He goes, "I'm Eric. Nice to meet you." She doesn't respond. Then he says, "Sorry, I'm heading the other way, but I thought you were pretty." And then he stops. Now that she's no longer being followed by a stranger, she feels relieved. Since she doesn't have to run away anymore, she pays attention. She turns around, looks at him, finds him attractive, thanks him for the compliment, blah blah blah, and she gives him her number. His first mistake was coming up from behind without her seeing him. In other words, he didn't have permission. That's how 90% of guys approach. He kind of saved it at the end by stopping, which made her feel safe. But the best way to approach is with permission. You make eye contact, smile at each other, and that's when you go up to her. And honestly, it doesn't really matter what you say. You can say, "I thought you were pretty and just wanted to say hi." You could also make it even smoother. This is the two-step method. The idea is that jumping 2 meters feels scary, but 1 meter jumps don't feel so bad. So instead of going straight up and saying, "Hey, you're gorgeous. Can I get your number?" you walk up and ask something casual. "Where's a good place to eat around here? What's the best drink at the bar? Where's the bar? Where's the bathroom?" Once she feels comfortable with your presence, you say, "Actually, I just thought you were beautiful and wanted to say hi." Now the compliment lands well because you didn't scare her, and she feels relaxed. And here's the key. We ask for what we believe we deserve. When you see a girl who feels out of your league, you don't approach with confidence because deep down you think you don't deserve it. But there are other girls you do approach with confidence. Now, she doesn't know anything about you. Her main source of information is how you approach her. If she sees you confident and chill, she assumes this isn't your first rodeo. That you know women like her, that you date women like her. So it feels like less of a risk for her. It's not about being intense. It's about being relaxed. They say the most powerful person in the room is always the most relaxed. Small habit changes, like talking to a stranger every day, can change your life.